Let me ask you something. Why is it that these prisoners who have no access to proper food, they have no access to supplements, and they're always living in stress and fear, they always have more muscle than the guy who's always trying to optimize? Like, for example, a bunch of people were accusing this guy right here of taking steroids when he was in jail, because as soon as he came out of the jail, he got bigger, and you can see it's like this guy actually added size to his body. But like, Habibi, this guy's not the only guy that went to jail and they came out strong. And so this made me think it's like all the stuff that we see right here on Twitter that are talking about testosterone, most of these things, Habibi, they don't work. Like they tell you it's like, oh, if you wanna increase your testosterone, go and take this thing called Tonga Ali. Or if you want to increase your testosterone, go and eat avocado. Bro, what the heck is avocado? Listen, you need to understand. Testosterone is basically a hormone that you use in your body. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't need it, you lose it. So if you're basically sitting at a 9 to 5 at a cubicle every single day, and you're literally surrounded by like 4 walls with artificial light, you can take all the Tonga Ali in the world for 30 days even, but the guy who actually needs testosterone, and even if it's like his food is bad, he's always gonna have more testosterone than you. So I'm telling you, I feel like I actually discovered 4 natural ways to boost testosterone, and bro, like this is only gonna take 7 days to actually change your life. And by the way, if you look at my pictures, like back in the day, and also even on my YouTube channel, you would look at my pictures and you would see the videos that I used to do, you could tell my testosterone was actually a bit low. But nowadays, it's like every single day I go to the gym, it's just like more PRs. And I don't know, I feel like I've been kind of also getting bigger too. Well, if like my strength is going up, obviously there's supposed to be more muscle coming out, right? So anyway, I'm gonna give you 4 natural ways to boost testosterone. And for number 4, I can guarantee, honestly, for most of them, especially number 4, I can guarantee like you've actually never heard this on any YouTube video you've seen on YouTube or even on TikTok. So the first one is that you need to understand, Habibi, taking something to increase your testosterone, first of all, that's not something manly. If you're taking something, like you're injecting something in your body, like a supplement, that's not what's going to cause you a high testosterone. If you're a man, because think about it. If you just look at the natural ways that humans live, right? If you're a man, you're the guy that basically inserts the seed. The female is the one that accepts the seed. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Also, even if you look at the 2 body parts, right? I don't know why I'm talking about, I don't know how this channel, we're talking about body parts now. But if you look at the 2 body parts, the male body part, it's on the outside. The female body part, it's on the inside. Which basically means if you're a man, you have to be doing things on the outside and not putting things in the inside to increase your fuel. Because remember, testosterone is a fuel. If man was a car, then testosterone is gas. Or not gas, but like fuel. So if you're always thinking it's like, what's the next thing that I should take to increase my testosterone levels? That's such a backwards way of thinking. Because it's not about taking something, it's about doing something to the world. That's why I said in the past, I'm like, you need to learn how to actually like penetrate the world. And the more you learn how to do that, the more you'll actually increase your testosterone and you'll feel it's like you'll have a win here and a win here, just wins everywhere. So the key to increasing your testosterone is to produce more and then consume less. And that's so funny because I've been saying that on the channel for so long. So if every single day you're actually taking like proper action, you're taking action that's fueled by a purpose, you'll notice that Allah is going to give you all the testosterone you need. Your body is going to produce all the testosterone you need. That's why those people, when they're in jail, their body knows that, holy crap, right now I need to increase my testosterone. Otherwise, something's going to happen in the shower. And so for them, it's like a life or death situation. So the body naturally is going to increase testosterone. But compare that with someone who's always living surrounded by 4 walls. I know I'm basically surrounded by 4 walls right now, but like I'm not always in this room. So if you're always living like indoors and you're not really like taking proper action, and you've gotten to such a point that you can't even go and do things until you have someone, first of all, holding you by the hand so they can show you what to do. If you're at this point right now, your testosterone is never going to go up. Like I'm telling you, you can even go and take Shilajit too. You can take Shilajit, even inject it in your body, your testosterone is not going to go up. Even if it goes up for a little bit, it's going to go down. Because also remember, it's like testosterone, it's not always up throughout the entire day. You're going to have some moments where your testosterone is up because you need it, and then some moments where it's down because at this point you don't really need it. And this is why we always say it's mind over matter. Your thoughts affect your reality. Your thoughts bring you emotions, and these emotions affect your reality. Also, if you look at this guy right here, this guy's mind is so sharp. And I know a lot of you guys hate this guy, but if you actually just study this guy, before he even became successful, he would tell people that he is successful before he's even successful. I mean, I used to actually watch this guy back in the day. If you guys never caught this guy back in the day, like way back in the day, when he used to call himself like Mr. Plenty, you would see that even like the way he would speak, before he even had like the amount of money that he has right now, you could tell that his identity is that of a guy who never makes mistakes, is that of a guy who's always driven by a purpose. So if you brainwash yourself to become this man, the man that doesn't need to be told what to do, because inside he's driven by a purpose. And by the way, the best example of that is this guy right here. And I know also like a lot of you guys might not like this guy, but this guy, if you just looked at him, first of all, there was a point in his life where even he actually had a belly. But you would see even like just the way he's carrying himself, you don't need to do a blood test to know if he has a high testosterone, man. But like you really think like back in the day, they used to tell him, it's like, oh, Habibi, go take Shilajit, go take Tonga Ali. Why don't you go inject testosterone too? This guy didn't need any of this stuff. This guy was driven by a purpose. He knew he had like a whole country that he needed to run, and he wasn't going to be told anything by anybody. People would come and tell him things. He wouldn't care. He has a purpose. He knows what to do. I mean, just look at him. This guy was actually insane. And yeah, I'm from Iraq. So like, I think every Iraqi now is like, they love this guy now, man. It's funny because back in the day we didn't like him, but I mean, I wasn't really born. I was born, but I never really knew anything about this. This guy, you know what he used to do? So at some point there was war, right, in Iraq, and this guy was just like moving with his soldiers. And this is something that my dad told me because my dad actually met him. But like he was just moving with his soldiers, and he's like, wait, well now it's like the time for like the afternoon nap. Now we need to go and like drink some chai, drink some tea, and all that. So the first thing he did is he just found like a house of some random civilian. He knocked the door. He just went. I don't even think he actually knocked the door. He just went in and he's like, listen, my soldiers need some rest. They need to rest at your house. And the civilian was like, I actually have the president of the entire country in my house. Habibi, come in. And he just sat in his house drinking chai and all that stuff. And it's like, this guy just invited himself in. I mean, that's actually beautiful. So do you really think this guy was taking supplements and all that stuff? This guy wasn't consuming. He wasn't injecting. He had the seed. He was penetrating the world. He was injecting into the world, not injecting into himself. This is the definition of a man, by the way. We're not the type of people, or we're not the gender that's supposed to accept things in us. So if you're one of those people that's always waiting for inspiration to come, that's always waiting for ideas to come, and then you go and take action, who's the one that does that, man? Like, you do realize females, and by the way, that's also not something bad, but females are the ones that are accepting the seed, and they're the ones that are getting pregnant. So you right now are waiting to become pregnant with ideas so you can go and take action. You're not supposed to be doing that. And you'll know it's like in your nature, you're not supposed to be doing that. If you're a woman and you're doing that, that's beautiful. But if you're a man and you're doing that, that's not beautiful. So anyway, this is the first thing that is going to increase your testosterone a lot. And by the way, just this tip alone is going to, like, this is all you need, by the way. None of the supplements, none of the food, none of any of that stuff. You can eat bad and you will still have a high amount of testosterone. As long as you're actually producing, you're not consuming, and you're always doing something. You're doing something. You're not taking something, you're doing something. Oh, and by the way, just so you know, an example of even you doing something is actually you going to the gym. You weightlifting. That's an example of you actually doing something. Oh, and also let me just give you something. So I actually wrote this in the Discord itself. So I basically said, I'm like, if right now you can't bench 185 pounds, squat 225, do 60 push-ups in a row, do 10 pull-ups in a row, deadlift 3 plates, that's a bit sad because that is actually the bare minimum. So try to at least bench 1.5 times your body weight, 2 times your body weight squats, deadlift 3 times your body weight, 80 push-ups, and 20 pull-ups. And yeah, I actually wrote right here, I'm like, at this moment, I've only been able to do the push-ups and the pull-ups. For a bench, I've only done 1.3 body weight, which is actually, I've increased that, by the way. And then for squats, 1.5 times my body weight. For deadlift, 2 times my body weight. But hey, I'm trying. I actually am trying, man. But these are the goals that I'm trying to reach. Hopefully I can reach this year. So for your New Year resolution or whatever, try to hit these goals minimum. Some of you guys can do this and that's beautiful. But I know like a lot of you guys can't do any of these. And that's pretty sad. That's the minimum example of you doing something and not taking something. So the second thing that I found that's actually going to increase your testosterone is this thing right here. So if you look at these two people, right? This guy is a sprinter. This guy is a marathon runner. You could definitely see the contrast in their bodies. Sprinting is actually going to increase your testosterone. So a single 30-second sprint is a potent stimulus for growth hormone. And then right here, another study published in whatever this thing is, found that sprinting can increase your testosterone levels in men by up to 26%. By the way, that's actually a lot. And also, it can increase your human growth hormone release, which is another hormone for muscle growth. Listen, anytime you're working out, try to at least, like, just at least at the end of the workout or in the beginning, add just at least like a 30-second sprint. The first thing that you'll notice is that as soon as you do it, you'll have like a rush of energy. It's just like a rush of like euphoria, not just for one day, but you'll take it even to the second day, like tomorrow. Oh, and they actually say it right here. That's so funny. Sprinting also releases endorphins, which is the body's natural feel-good chemicals. And also think about it, like back in the day when we used to actually like hunt people and all that stuff, not people, but like animals, like us humans, we used to always be sprinting. So just imagine this, like back in the day, you needed testosterone and you're sprinting, so your body naturally just produced more testosterone. And it's so funny because this brings us back to the first point, which is like the most foundational point. But again, it's like just you exerting like the most amount of force in this short amount of time, it's going to boost your testosterone by so much. So just adding intensity to your body is going to demand more from your body, and it's going to, trust me bro, it's going to actually increase your testosterone, man. Anyway, so this next one is competition. Now, this is actually very, like, it's very misunderstood, because most of the time people just think it's like, oh, I just got to go through a competition and then my testosterone is going to increase naturally. But it's not just about that. Sometimes people can even tell you, they're like, you know, if you play chess, that's basically competition. So if you play chess, your testosterone is going to go up. It's true, but it's also false. So this right here is an article, a journal article, that talks about testosterone and chess competition. I know a lot of you guys hate reading this stuff, so I'll just summarize it for you. But this is proof, by the way, it's proof. We find that winners of chess tournaments show higher testosterone levels than do losers. Also, in some cases, even like before the competition, you can see that these players, their testosterone is up. So listen, it's not just about like going through a competition is going to increase your testosterone. That's not just it. When you go through a competition and you win, that's when your testosterone goes up. Think of it literally like a feedback loop. If you do something and you succeed, you get like a reward. And then if you fail, you don't get a reward. That's why even if you look at like teams, soccer teams who are losing, their testosterone is always going to go down. And this is something actually so sad, because it's like, wait, if I lost and then my testosterone went down, how am I gonna like win the second time? Because now my testosterone is low. And then it's like those teams that win, they're always going to be winning because their testosterone now is up. So this goes back to the first issue, which is mind over matter. As a man, you need to be able to like actually exert pressure into the world, like doing more than consuming. So if you're doing like a competition and then you lost, then your testosterone is down. Well, what do you have to do right now? You have to go and train more. That's why they say here, in some cases, competitors show rises in testosterone before their games, as if in preparation for the contest. It's actually so funny how testosterone works. And also think about it. It's like if you succeeded, well, your testosterone is up because now your body is demanding from you to stay in this position when you're up. So in order for you to stay in this position, well, your body's like, here's more testosterone, man. Like, show aggressiveness, show more manliness. And then when you do that, well, now you're going to go back to the game and then you win. And as a result, it keeps going. It's basically like a loop. But then when you lose, well, that's what you have to learn. It's like mind over matter. Your testosterone now it's down. So go back to level 1, meaning exert more pressure, exert more force, do more than you're thinking, do more than you're consuming. And by the way, some of you guys are going to be thinking it's like, wait, but if I lost, now my testosterone is down, and as a result, like my motivation is also down. So what do I do when my motivation is down? Do I increase my testosterone first to get motivation, or do I increase motivation first to get testosterone? Well, Habibi, it's none of that. It's, again, mind over matter, your mind over your body. It's you knowing right now that your body is at a bad state, and then you still go and do the things that you need to do despite how you feel. Like this guy right here, when he was getting destroyed, he still knew that he had to do the things that he needed to do. Just because he's feeling bad, it's like, oh man, the world is just destroying me right now. He's not just going to be like, well, okay, I'm done. I'm just going to finish everything. He was at a court. You could see right here. He was in the court right here. And he was still showing alpha traits. So just realize it's like, you're not the guy that's waiting for the testosterone to come and then you go and do things. That's not you. You're the one that's like over this. You're the one that's like looking out at all of the stuff that's happening in your body. And then you're telling your body, Habibi, more. But anyway, the last thing is basically sleep and light. Now I'm going to tell you something that a lot of you guys never actually heard of before about sleep. Now in terms of light, they're basically, it's like you need both of them, right? But like in terms of light, if you spend more time under the sun, your testosterone is going to go up for sure. That's why people back in the day, they were always under the sun, so their testosterone was always high. But for sleep, I don't just mean like go to sleep early or get like 8 hours of sleep and all that stuff. You can have a short amount of sleep and you will still have a high amount of testosterone. But how do you do that? So obviously the first thing is that before you go to sleep, make sure your room is extremely dark. Like there's not a single light in your room. because your body, it needs to like not get any light into the eyes, so you don't produce any of the things that tell your body that you're awake. But also, when you're sleeping, I'm going to tell you some secret that none of you guys have actually heard. And it's such a powerful secret. And this secret right here, like, is supposed to not only help you get a deeper sleep, but also it can help you actually live a lot longer. I know I can't really claim that, but like, because I didn't really live a long life right now. But I was reading the Quran, right? And I was looking at the ayat. And so you've heard of the people of the cave, right? The people of the cave, which is these people. So you can see here it says they remained in their cave for 300 years and they exceeded by 9. So they actually slept. They slept in the cave for 300 years. Now, a lot of you guys are going to be like, well, that's impossible. You can't be doing stuff like that. Well, Allah knew that people were going to be saying stuff like this in the future, or even not in the future, but like at the time when the Quran was revealed. So Allah was like, did you really think that the people of the cave were like something amazing that we did? Like Allah was saying, it's like, yeah, this is one of our signs, but did you really think that this sign of ours, this miracle of ours, was something crazy? So Allah is saying, it's like, this right here was not just for the people of the cave. This is for everybody. So the way that they actually slept contains a deep secret that if you just do it, you'll be able to not only have high testosterone, man, just so you know, because if your body is like running at an optimal state, you're gonna have a good amount of testosterone that your body needs. But also, like, these people lived for a long time. So if you do what they did, I mean, you could live for as long as they did. But what did they do that was so different? Let me show you. So here, right here it says, وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ. So I was looking at these ayat, right? And by the way, just so you know, this is not from my own mind. I don't take things from my own mind. Like, yeah, I do reflection, I do contemplation on the Quran. So I'm telling you like my contemplation, but also like other people's contemplation. Now, this is not tafsir. Don't be telling me it's like, oh, you're doing tafsir and all that stuff. I'm not doing tafsir. I'm just giving you my contemplation and what other people also said that are all not scholars. So I'm not a scholar. But anyway, so here it says, we turn them to the right and to the left. Now, it's so interesting because the word they used for right and left is ذات اليمين وذات الشمال. Now, in the Quran, if you actually look at it, whenever Allah says yamini or shimal, it means right and left, but at times it also means like south and north. So if you look right here, this is Yemen. This is a country called Yemen. Why do you think this country was called Yemen? Well, if you look at the entire like Arabic peninsula, this right here is at the most south. Yemen is south. Listen, the word Yemen, it means right, but it also means south. The word shimal, it means left, but it also means north. That's why if you're standing at the sun, as soon as it rises on the east, to your right is what? To your right is the south, which is your right hand, which is the yamin, which is the right. And then to the left is the north, which is yasar, which is shimal, which is your left hand, which is north. And also, it's very interesting because here it says if you're standing somewhere in the Arabic world facing eastwards towards the sun, then the country that's on your right is Yemen, which is Yemen, which is right, which is south. So look, whenever you see the word south in the Quran, or I mean you see the word yamin, or you see the word shimal in the Quran, yamin means south, shimal means north. So like, what does all of this mean regarding like the cave of the seven sleepers and testosterone? Well, as you can see here it says, وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ. We were basically turning them, like they were sleeping like this, and they were being turned like this towards south and then towards north. What does that mean? Their head was facing either west or east. And if you look right here, if you're facing west, it's good for longevity. And if you're facing east, it's good for your destiny. So if your head was facing west, that's a good thing. That's going to increase you in age. And if it's facing east, that's also a good thing. Now here, if it's facing north, north is the worst one because north results in death. And by the way, this is why if you just take a baby, point, like let the baby sleep towards north, like their head is facing north, you'll see this baby's always going to be crying. But then when you move the baby like sideways towards the west or east or even south, you'll see that it's not really going to be crying anymore. Now, south is also not that bad because the whole purpose behind this is that if you have a compass, it's always going to be pointing north. So somewhere in the north, it's like magnetic. So it pulls everything towards it. So the nutrients, like the minerals in your body, the iron especially, when you're sleeping towards north, all of it is going to be moving like to your head. And by the way, this is not something that like Muslims are the only ones that are talking about. Like a lot of people talked about this. If you just sleep towards north, it's not good for you. It's going to result in death. And there's a lot of research behind this. It's just that it's so interesting how this was basically highlighted in the Quran that like it's like why did Allah specifically say that He was turning them like towards south, like they were facing south and then north? It's just for the people that are just sitting down and they're contemplating on the ayat of the Quran, which is so beautiful. So look, if you're sleeping and it's like your head is facing west, and when you're sleeping, and then when you turn this way, like you're looking at north, and then you turn this way, you're looking at south. That's a good thing. So go right now, look at your bed. See how your bed is basically positioned. When you're sleeping, is your head facing north or is it facing south? If it is, then that's not a good thing. Change it, and then let your head face west or east. And then Habibi, like trust me, when you go to sleep in that state, you'll have such a deep sleep and your body's gonna be repaired. I mean, it's actually so crazy, just the fact like this entire story of the people of the cave, like they slept for so long, and then Allah had to, like, it's like he knew that this was like a secret that he put in the Quran, that people, if they just found out about it, it's like this is the exact reason why they were able to sleep for so long without even dying. And by the way, what's so interesting, they say, is that the cave of the seven sleepers, right? Like they found the cave of these people, and it's like the door of the cave was facing south. So if your house, if it faces south, that's a good thing, because when it's south, you'll be able to see the sun consistently. And by the way, this whole knowledge about directions is so important. Like, listen, I'll make a separate video about this, or I might just add it in the Discord. But like, you do know the direction that you're sitting in and you're working in, like this direction, if it's a certain direction, is gonna make all your work a lot better. Like it's actually gonna make you more money. But then if this direction is like at another direction, you'll notice that you'll do everything, but nothing's gonna be working out, because directions matter. Directions, Habibi, the earth has an electromagnetic field. And then if you work with this electromagnetic field, with this current, you'll notice that whatever you do, it's like you're gonna be like guided by something you can't even see. Like, you know, sometimes when people, like, you just take someone, drop them in a river, and it's like if they're trying to swim across the river, like up the river, they won't be able to do it because the river is going down. So in life, on Earth, there is always like an electromagnetic field, and you'll notice this electromagnetic field from the directions. That's why the compass always points north, because there's something telling it to point north. And then when you vibe with this electromagnetic field, you'll notice that every direction gives you something. So if you're studying and then you're facing a certain direction, you'll notice that anything that you put in your mind goes in so easily, as opposed to you studying at another direction, which I can't reveal. You'll notice that anything that you're studying, nothing's going to go into your brain. And by the way, what's so funny is that any of the videos that I make, I notice there's like one golden direction, but any of the videos that I make, I notice that when I make them, like this direction that I'm facing is the golden direction. But anyway, so this right here is like such a crazy tip. Sleep at the right position, Habibi. The positions actually matter. So look right here. Head north is the worst sleep position. West is acceptable. East is great, and south is great. So east and west, like, they're good. They're not bad. So for your sleep, if you're trying to make your body have like the most optimal level of testosterone, the direction that you're sleeping in actually matters. Oh, and also I'll give you one more tip that's actually going to help you a lot. And it's in the Quran too. And it says, tell the believing men that they must lower their gaze. Listen, if you're a man and you're walking around and you're always looking at everything, you see a woman and you look at her. You see a woman and then you look at her. Or when you're scrolling, you're always just looking at woman after woman after woman. Allah here is telling you, when you're walking around, lower your gaze. Why is that? You know that, Habibi, back in the day, like, first of all, if you're a man, the thing that's going to give you the most motivation is mating itself. That's why back in the day, like when the Roman Empire was alive, these people used to go and conquer places just because they were just like, you know what? We need more women. Like, obviously, they weren't telling other soldiers, let's go and do it because of that. But like the most powerful thing that motivates men is just, Habibi, we have to be honest, it's women itself. So the Roman Empire, or whoever it was back in the day, they didn't really have access to phones where they can just press buttons and then like a woman immediately shows up. So for them, they had no access to these things. So what did they have to do? They had high amount of motivation. So they had to go out and then do the things that were required for them to basically like see more women. And why am I telling you all that stuff? Because back then, it was so hard to go and see. Nowadays, it's easy to go and see. Why is porn free? It's free for a reason. If porn was free back in the day, there would be no conquest of any other places. People would not have the motivation to go and conquer other places. So listen, if you're going to be living your whole life lowering your gaze, not looking at women, you'll notice that your body is going to produce more testosterone, because now your body's like, holy crap, I need a wife. So it's gonna do all that it can to go and get you a wife. And this is so powerful because Habibi, you'll notice too, it's like if you stop looking at women, I'm also like I'm being serious. If you stop looking at women, you'll notice that your motivation is gonna come back to you. You'll notice that this fire within you that wants to go and do things is gonna come back to you. The only reason why this fire right now is not within you is because you can't lower your gaze. You're not lowering your gaze. And I know some of you guys are gonna be like, man, you're really saying like men are not supposed to be looking at other women. I'm actually saying that, bro. Yes, I am. Next time you walk around with your gaze down. Don't be looking at women. And by the way, I've been blessed with horrible, horrible eyesight because back in the day, I was playing so much video games, man. Like I would literally be stuck in front of the TV just playing video games. So now, like my eyesight are horrible. So nowadays, if I go to the gym, I take off my glasses. So even when I'm just walking around, I don't see anything. Like there could be like a naked woman standing right next to me. I can't see her because my eyesights are so bad. And so what's so funny is that like this actually allowed me to lift even more. And by the way, don't be coming here and telling me it's like, wait, but you know, Bradley Martin, he's like, if you have a woman on top of you and stuff, you can bench more, even if it is true. The other one is going to give you more of a benefit. Next time you walk around, stop looking at women. Like seriously, have some shame, bro. Lower your gaze. But anyway, I hope this whole video was helpful. Once again, I told you, if you're trying to increase your testosterone, like the whole foundation is not about supplements, even though supplements are going to supplement you, but if your foundation is wrong, if you're not acting like the way a man is supposed to act, if you're consuming more than you're producing into the whole world, your testosterone is never going to go up. By the way, that's why when you go to war, going to war, by the way, is like the most optimal way of increasing your testosterone. Obviously, you can't do it right now, but like when you go to war, it has everything in it. It has competition. It's like you demanding your body to do more than consume. But yeah, man, I hope this video was helpful. If this video was helpful, just let me know.